I mean, I am playing Team Fight Tactics, but yeah.
And at the start there, we've just gone live, and Joel is playing Teamfight Tactics. FaZe has just got up without his headset on. It's all gone wrong. You probably can't even hear me because I've probably forgotten to press a button. I don't know. I think we're good. Right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 5 of Smileyblue. With us today, we have...
You can't fucking salvage it. Don't.
I'm hitting end stream. We'll be back next week, late again. And yes. No. GMT, how are you doing? Hello.
You're right, bud. Not bad, mate. Not bad. Can't really complain. It's been... Yeah, it's been pretty normal Diabotical things.
Yeah.
Agent won a tournament, so...
Hang on.
My life's the same as ever.
We're just saying hello at the moment. Chill
all right, hello.
All right, hello. FaZe, how you doing, mate? Fresh off your scrims this evening? How's it going? He's muted.
Fuck.
Yeah, he's muted. You're muted, FaZe. There's a mute icon right next to your name.
Bro, I was speaking and it wasn't muted, and you said I was muted. What the fuck is going on?
You were muted, mate.
Yo, I'm doing good.
Good.
Had some scrims, indeed. Had some tuna pasta. Pretty good.
Nice, mate.
Pretty good protein.
Yeah.
Just so you know. And I'm chilling with you guys, and I have all the good guys here.
There we go. And our guest this week is Mr. 3 Dimensions, Napalm3D. How are you doing, Joel, like that? How you doing, Nate? How you doing, man?
I'm pretty good.
Pretty good.
Could be worse.
I like your jersey, by the way, in your background there. What's that from? Is that an old player jersey you used to have, or is that custom made?
That is from Sacrifice in Quake Champions for the QuakeCon tournament.
I remember it.
Yeah. When in doubt, gauntlet out.
Speaking of jerseys, I'm going to show you guys something that has never been shown before, and nobody knows about it.
Don't get me banned.
He just gets at his cock. Nobody's seen it before, boy.
The debut.
This could be so many bad things.
Yeah.
Probably all of them.
Why has he got to put a lock in?
What is happening?
A key code into
Fucking
it.
hell.
Hey.
Oh. VP have it. Fucking
I bet you that's dirty
Pro.
and he smells it.
Not been washed. Just needs to keep it. Oh, look at that. A Cypher as well.
Virtus Pro. No way.
GTA is a bit of a throwback, isn't it? Do you remember when everyone had a GTA sponsorship?
G2A?
G2A. Sorry, yeah, not GTA.
Dude,
Yeah.
I've been such a big fucking fan of those two. I remember 2017. No, 18. We went to DreamHack and I messaged those guys beforehand. We were like good friends by that time. It's like, guys, do you mind if I, grab the jersey from you? And they're like, yeah, sure. And they just brought it to DreamHack and they gave it to me. And I was like over the fucking moon. I'm still supposed to frame them, but I haven't done it.
Oh. They're like, I didn't know DreamHack will partner with Make-A-Wish.
Of course, always. And I'm one of the main kids. Yeah.
Oh, there's so many terrible jokes I want to make. Something about hairline and, well...
I mean, look at my hairline. It's already going backwards. I'm getting full pole. Soon.
GMT's got a bit of an unfair advantage in any sort of hairline discussion, so it's kind of a default win.
I'm hairy all over, man. It's actually a nightmare.
I can bet, I bet, mate. Jesus Christ.
I've got all fucking hairy hands.
You do a bit.
Hairy feet. It's a real...
Jumanji-esque, I'd say.
Yeah. Robin Williams. That's me.
Is it wiry? It looks really thick.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
You look...
FaZe?
It's a good show, this, boys.
He's broke himself.
It's a good show. It's a fucking great show, this.
The highest level of professionalism
I was about
is
to
this
say
podcast.
something, and then I had to stop myself. I was like, fuck me. I would ruin friendships here if I said what I was about to say.
I'm glad you filtered yourself. That's better than you've done in the past.
Swiftly moving on.
Let's move on. Let's just cover a couple of bits that we saw at the weekends. Probably the biggest one for for three of us. Sorry, Nate, this will be a bit. But I'm sure you watched from the sidelines. We had the TimCon Mega Duel Cup, Joel.
Mate,
tell us about it.
Well,
tell us
about
it.
We got given $1,500 by the good studio. Lovely lads that they are. They've said put on a duel tournament, and we've gone, you're on. And so we put that money into Agent's pocket and had a great time all the while. Yeah. So it was a good time. it was really cool for me to have not a whole day of casting because we had 3 duos that ended up being 2 duos and me and Jake.
To a bit, yeah.
Because we had Phylum and Hamo on, wonderful Australian lads. I've worked with them before and super affable, super passionate as well. They were great. Then we move on. It's me and Jake because Fraser's internet didn't work, sadly.
Yeah.
That was a shame. It's got to be said, but hey, you gotta just roll with the punches sometimes. And then me and FaZe bringing it up the rear for the end. I think everyone had a good time. Really good turnout, like 40, 45 signups, I think.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I even got a fight with someone from chat.
All right. And also just really happy to have some duels, honestly, because it's my thing. Well, it's in I prefer duels to team modes, and especially commentating. I find duel way easier. So yeah, very enjoyable.
Yeah, we I know Phrase, a lot of people in chat were very excited about Phrase, and I was absolutely bloody delighted when he said he would do it with me because he didn't even know who I was. I was like, "Hello, mate. I'm a big fan of your past games and your rage clips and stuff like that." And he actually was well up for doing it, and he would have had to have gotten up at, I think at about, well, he was going to nap until like gone 9 p.m. his time, and then he was going to cast for a couple of hours and go back to sleep because he works away. So he was at work in his like room there, and he had work at 4:30 the next morning. So he was really like up for, proper inconveniencing his schedule to come and do this with me. But yeah, sadly his internet just wasn't up to it by the time it rolled around. And he said he was very grumpy trying to reset his router over and over, but it wasn't meant to be. So me and GMT had to do some casting, and me and FaZe actually did a game or two, I believe, FaZe. And you kept telling me off for calling it Rail instead of Pincer. So that was good fun. Dominant agent as always. I mean, he never looks in doubt, of course. Like, what do we even do at this point? Ban him from entering?
Well, the other thing about it though is like he doesn't like. Okay, so Dazator looked really, really good going all the way into grand finals, and then just sort of goes wrong for people. Yeah. There's some aura around Agent, I think, at the moment, just because he is being so dominant. People don't think they can beat him, or things seem to go his way a lot of the time. Like you get that with a lot of champions all across sports. It seems like the best people are the luckiest, but I don't know. It's going to take something special to knock him off the top.
Napalm, have you seen an early dominance like this in some of the older Quake games? Like, has there ever been like someone who just looks kind of unbeatable in a certain region that you can think of, or is this kind of we just need to wait and see if anyone can topple him eventually?
It always happens. You're going to run into people who just maybe even 6 months they'll just shut everybody down. I guess the question comes to Agent is how long can he reign, and will people step up and give him a challenge? Because I think the best matches are not when he's in it. He just stomps them out, and then he's going to win. That's what you think when you go into it. So you're less hyped, I think. I think the previous matches were actually more exciting. Who's going to face Agent was more exciting to me than Agent 3-0ing him,
Yeah, for sure. I know Firebot did quite well this event. I think he got to the losers final or something, I think. And
third place.
Yeah, he'd obviously been out for a while. He hadn't been dueling for a bit. I think he'd been focusing on team modes, and he had been streaming quite a lot in the weeks leading up, and he looked really strong actually. I think there's a couple of Skybreak maps where I think on comms we called like maybe this isn't suited to Firebot, but he actually ended up just picking Skybreak quite a lot and doing really well in it. So that was really good to see. That kind of like lack of killer instincts that he sometimes gets labelled with. Didn't fucking show it this event. He played really, really well. So I was really impressed with young Firebot. That was good to see. And it looks like he's back to scrimming now with, I think his team is Buckster.
Neutrino and Buckster.
And Neutrino, yeah. How are they look in FaZe? You must have played them a few times.
Nope.
You not played them at all?
Oh, no.
Forget I asked.
They were scrimming today.
Yeah, I caught a bit of that on some of on Abzo's stream actually.
No, they're playing right, but
yeah,
what happens when you put a bunch of duelers in a team?
They time everything perfectly.
How many duelers does it take to screw a light bulb, right?
Yeah, very true.
None of them can, pretty much.
So not too impressed with them then.
Rude.
No. I mean, it's like because they spend so much time playing duels in every game. The lack of experience in team modes like really shows, and they're trying to do their best to to surpass that and actually have a really good team. And they are a really good team on paper. So if they like carry on playing together, and there is no what should we what's the word? There's no arguments, like major arguments between players, then they'll be fine. It will just take some time.
Yeah, I think they've got a very high ceiling, right?
Yeah,
they could
sure.
be really, really good.
Yeah, it's hard to dedicate your time if you have to split it up between two majorly different modes plus life and job and all of that stuff as well. So, so that was cool. We also saw obviously the NA qualifiers, which didn't really receive a stream this time round. It was kind of we just all watched. I know the official.
You calling me out
a little bit. Obviously, the best way to watch. To be fair though, the best way to watch these is to watch the individual player point of views. I don't have a list of the qualified teams in front of me, but I do want to give a little shout out to one of the teams. Which, go on, you look them up while I fill time. I do want to give a quick shout out to Papa Smurf's team actually, with Vedmedic and Beth on it, because they made an insane like losers bracket run on the Sunday. Obviously Vedmedic being the stronger player on that team, but I think the final game they pretty much retired Carnage Johnson to Valorant, sadly. Yeah, so Carnage Johnson, it was Death and Callie, and they lost out. I think they got 2-0'd actually by Vedmedic's team with Papa Smurf and Beth. Neither team is very practiced at all, and I think Vedmedic was doing the majority of the heavy lifting, but they're through to the fucking, playoffs next weekend. So that's quite...
Shared credit.
Shared credit. Cred medic. Yeah, so I think...
That hurt.
Yeah, a little bit. So obviously Liquid being number 1 seed, I believe. Have you got the things there, Joel? I'm not going to open it. I'm not going to open it because it'll fuck up my cameras, but I believe Liquid seeded number 1. And who's like, apart from Liquid, who's like the next strongest team, would we say, boys?
Skybreak.
Yeah.
And
yeah, 100%.
Who's the other guy? Oh, Defro.
Defro, yeah.
So they previously played with Vedmedic.
Yeah, of course.
That was what Aim Scams was. This is new Aim Scams. They take on Cygib, who is really the standout performer from Cybrain. So yeah, I think it's kind of a lateral move, I guess. Vedmedic for Cygib. I don't know if it's that big of a difference.
Yeah, there's different play styles there. I think Vedmedic might be the smarter player. I think Cygib might maybe clutch a little harder, maybe better weapon choices sometimes, but they're in the same vein, I would say.
I got the list, by the way, of teams qualified.
Oh, nice. Yeah, because there's a bracket up already, I believe. I think that went up today.
I'm going to post it in the chat.
All right, I will open it. Oh, it's in there. AG Children. Yeah, Aim Scums. That's Ved's new fucking team. So definitely not a play on Aim Scams by any means. I was going to ask actually how we think about. I actually quite like Immortal Minds, DDK's team. They're looking pretty good, right? I know Effortless is kind of, from what I can tell, is probably one of their sort of heavy hitters on that team.
Yeah, I think Effortless is by far and away the best player on that team.
Yeah.
Like Dewey, primarily a jeweler, and I think even among jewelers, really looks like that's the case in terms of his movement. I don't know. I felt like one of the players that we made that made more obvious mistakes from what I can remember. And then DDK is, I don't know, a little bit middling maybe. He's okay.
He's okay.
But Effortless is really, really good.
From their scrims, actually, I don't see DDK communicating quite as much as I thought he maybe would do. Because
oh no, he's famous for that. He can't shoot and talk.
Right. Okay.
It's a thing that, like, if you back in the day, we do Counter-Strike streams, and people would get really annoyed at him because it was like he can't talk and shoot, so he goes silent while he shoots.
That's not nice. Don't be mean to him.
There's actually quite a lot of those people like that from EU. I'm not sure about NA, but EU has a lot of people like that talk that can only talk out of engagement. Yeah,
and the famous NA comms, like especially in CS, was
he's Pincer.
He's B. They say it like 1,000 times. Sorry, Napalm. That's just
they talk too much.
Yeah,
for sure.
They talk too much, and our EU guys use comms like cock, or vagina.
Napalm's the most European, North American that we've ever met. So that's good.
Yeah, I know how to play TDM, so that sets me apart automatically.
Hey, beautiful. And
One of the only players from NA that knows how to play properly.
Is TDM pretty much confirmed for season 2? More or less. We don't know.
Nobody knows.
It was
It's okay.
Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to talk about as well, actually, was obviously James made a Reddit post about fixing the queues in the game. Because obviously none of us have made a game, right? I'm going to assume. Unless Napalm has secretly.
I'm an announcer in a game.
You are.
Slightly helped make a game.
Are you really? Not this game,
Yeah.
right?
Doombringer.
Doombringer. What, have you got a
Yeah,
voice
I'm
in
the
there?
voice. Yeah, I'm the announcer.
Fucking hell, mate.
I know.
Get that quiet. Okay, so I've got the post up here. So obviously, like, the dev team made that kind of almost like a... See, when James says, like, we made a vote, it's like he probably was on a stream once doing a dev stream and just looked at chat when he asked a question and, like, whatever he saw most of counted as the vote, right? So it's not like... You know, not like an electoral vote or something like that. But literally he said, you know, do you want us to polish the game for a better engine and quality of life features and stuff, or do you want us to look at game modes? And apparently the vote was to polish the game up, right, and add in, you know, spectator features, work on the netcode, all that kind of behind the scenes type stuff. But obviously we're seeing an increasing amount of like game mode posts and complaints and feedback, whatever you want to call it. So it's obviously clear that they need to like streamline how many lists are available. What do we think's going to be kind of the strategy going forward? Napalm, I don't know if you've got any, like, you know, you work closer with the dev team than I do, for example. Like, what do you think like the strategy should be for the game, for healthy queues, etc.?
The last time I talked to James, he said that for the queue system we have now, we would need 5,000 concurrent in every region, which is basically unheard of in AFPS. It's just not possible, right? So obviously they need to change. They thought they could do it maybe season 2. It's got to come earlier. As far as what needs to be done, they have the numbers, right? Yeah, I would kind of work close with them, and I'm doing the mapping contest stuff, but I don't know the back end. I don't know everything, you know. So they're going to prune for what gets played, is what I'm assuming. So whatever's played the most is going to stay.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's clear that the amount of queues has got kind of a little bit out of control. Like, it was okay in the stress test because they just needed to test everything. But it's good to see that at least it's been acknowledged. I don't like the thought that it's been prompted by that video that came out that I think from Goon Champ. It was like, why Diabotical is shit. I don't like the idea that that maybe prompted the response, although it may well have done.
It did.
Yeah. Because I don't think anyone believes that the game is total shit, but at the end of the day, something needs to happen with the matchmaking experience, I suppose. Yeah, so maybe TDM for season 2. Certainly interesting. I don't know how like popular a queue would be for that though, like an actual matchmaking queue. I can't imagine.
It's hard to say, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how it is in Europe for you guys, but in NA, even on my Smurf when I play, quick play is so much longer than rank for me, no matter what rank I'm at. It's way longer. And that's where the general people are going to go when they enter. So they're brand new game, install it, try and play 15 minutes in the queue time. Like, that looks bad, right?
I think there's one kind of obvious thing that should be changed, in my opinion. And that's to add to your point, Nate. You know the quick play tab, right? When you go into the quick play tab, which is exactly what new players are going to be looking into, they're not going to be looking into competitive tab at first, right? Move the fucking join warm up to quick play.
Yeah.
Don't have it in competitive. I think that really, like, I think a lot of new players don't even know that it exists. And if they have the join warm up in the quick play, which is the first tab that they're going to be seeing anyway, it would potentially help them figure out, you know, the weapons, the movement, without having to fully indulge into an actual quick play match.
I wonder if like it can be somehow made more obvious that you can join warm up and then just do whatever you want i.e. search for a ranked game or whatever, or change your settings, because that was a massive complaint in the Valorant beta. I remember when I joined that, and it had the practice range thing, and you could go in there, but you couldn't queue up at the same time. And basically Riot was saying that we don't have the tech for that, and then fucking James's boys just patched, like, it's just in there like from day one. Stuff like that's important to people. So yeah, I wonder if that could maybe improve it a little bit. And I don't want to get into a whole what can we do to get new players interested in the game, because that's just like a never ending topic. But I just thought it was interesting that James came out and addressed the queues, because it's getting memed on slightly too hard now that it can take a while to get a game. I was shocked the other day, GMT last night, wasn't it, that you and I were searching Wipeout and MacGuffin, and MacGuffin actually came up, and we were like, fucking, I nearly fell off my chair. It was unbelievable.
What a treat.
And even the other day I had to tweet, because last week I had a MacGuffin game pop up, and Sunken was voted.
Bloody
actual
hell.
Sunken, the real map with the new Halloween one and everything.
I think what we could also do, maybe, or not we, but the studio, is the custom lobbies. They could be used way more utilized. There's a couple Discords that use them. They're pretty popular. They could be used a lot more. You can do a lot more things. You don't have to put it on a main card. You want to do Instagib on a CTF map? You got it. You want to do freeze tag? You got it. Like, it's there. It just needs to be used more. That's what everybody wanted in Quake Champions. Give me a server browser. Well, you have one. You're not using it.
Yeah. Yeah, I see a lot of server browser chat as well. But obviously, a big thing for Season 2, especially for you, Napalm, will be the content server, right? That's meant to be coming. So, correct, for the layman, right, i.e. me, what does the content browser enable you to do? If you were to lay it out, like, what are the key features of a server? Because for me, I didn't even know that had to exist. I thought you could just host that anyway, but it seems to be a big deal.
It's going to be, there's two different ways it could go. It depends on how they want to do it, right? It has to be every map's approval, and we can't do remakes because it's hosted by the company. Then the other way is you get your own allotted space per account. You upload X amount of megabytes of maps, and then they're just available in custom. So I'm not sure which direction they're going yet. I haven't really heard much lately, but that's what James has talked about. It's either going to go those two directions. I think both are good. They both have their drawbacks. Obviously, manual approval means somebody has to look at all the maps that people want to put on there. So it's going to be good for the game either way. It's just how it's going to be done and how user-friendly it is.
So I remember I'm always going to refer back to Halo, but Halo 3 had the file share system where I had a certain amount of space, cloud space or whatever. I could make a map, upload it, and then anyone could click on my profile and literally just download the map and just play it, and then host it in a custom. It was crazy. I don't know how they managed to do that sort of stuff for console. Yeah. Way back in 07 or whenever that game came out. But so that's essentially what it is. Yeah, it's just a good way of sharing made maps so you can test it and not have to then send them out for everyone to individually install and all that stuff. Yeah.
And it's going to be different from the workshop. Like the workshop, it's your own stuff. But if it's hosted by the company, I'm not sure legally what they're going to have to do to filter the stuff, because you can't have Quake Champion maps on there, obviously. It's just not going to go well. I'm not fighting Microsoft or Bethesda for rights for anything.
How many Dust 2s are we going to see, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, that's a good point to talk about the mapping contest, Napalm, because it's coming towards the end, if I'm not mistaken, right? So you've been running this for a while.
Yeah, we're going on 2 months now, and it's going to last till December. But the first initial heat we're going to prune the top 10, that comes in 5 days. So right now it's crunch time for all the mappers. We're getting a lot of, the layout stuff is done now. Now it's, hey, what can I do for art? What can I do for collision? Get the polish in. And from what I've seen, there's a lot of maps coming in. So it'll be good.
And it's for a variety of game modes, I'm not mistaken. So what are the game modes that people are submitting for?
There's 3 different contests within the contest.
Oh, okay.
There's the duel maps, there's the time trial, and then the team modes. And the team modes, TDM, CTF, MacGuffin.
Wow.
I think I'm missing one, but I might be dumb.
Freeze tag?
The freeze tag, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
But there's no wipeout. And I know a lot of people actually made wipeout maps thinking it was going to be in the contest. I think we need wipeout maps, so maybe that'll be in the next one.
That's surprising, actually, because I thought they'd be pushing Wipeout quite hard. and it's clearly the most popular mode, T mode, just on the matchmaking browser, right?
Yeah.
So that's surprising.
I think it's just there's so many Wipeout maps already. There's already, what, 5?
Yeah.
Although some of them aren't the greatest, right? But they still exist. Freeze tag has no maps right now. So
Yeah, true.
it kind of makes more sense to get some sort of pool going for those.
And it's probably right to assume that TDM maps equals Extinction maps really as well. We've only got 2 of those so far. So maybe...
And then some of the TDM might actually work in freeze tag also.
Yeah.
Maybe more universal, the TDM. They can kind of go in different spots.
Oh, see, as someone who's never played freeze tag, everyone that loves freeze tag, like, loves freeze tag, and it's like really got me intrigued into playing it. Guys, GMT, FaZe, you guys must be crying out for some new maps, especially you, FaZe. If you're scrimming like every night, just seeing the same maps over and over, or are you not? Is it better actually because you got less to learn?
Yeah, I don't care about the amount that you learn. It's more like there's a lot of psychology behind it. When it comes to, it's not just the new maps. It's how good are the current maps? How good are they visually? And you gotta focus a lot on visuals because not only the pros are gotta be playing it, but also the casual players are gonna be playing it. So then you have to pay to the color psychology. You want to make sure that the colors are not extremely vibrant, but they're also not extremely dull. You don't want to make all the dark corridors. You don't want them to be too colorful. You want to have the right balance because when the player comes into the game, even if the map is shit, if it's done right when it comes to the color, lighting, and the theme, that's what's gonna make them play because they don't actually play on a professional level, so they don't give a shit what the map is or what the layout is, right? So it's like I think there can be more potentially better maps. But there's also some good maps. I'm not gonna be naming which ones are good, which ones are bad, each to their own. But yeah, I'm excited for some new maps just to play something else from my own perspective, from my own bias.
Yeah, for sure, man. GMT, are you excited for any new maps, even though you don't play the game anymore? But we do play Wipeout together quite a lot. So
We do, yeah.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't sound like there's gonna be any new Wipeout maps though.
No. Well, so for me, I'm very bad at learning maps. Like, it takes me a long time because I can't imagine 3D space. It's part of my mental disability. So as a caster, I feel like I'm going to do a much better job if we keep the maps to a minimum. But I think for the health of the game, for the sake of the teams, the variety, and the fact that it's a different skill set, like FaZe was saying, like a new map requires you to be inventive. Whereas if it's a very old map, you can watch other people do all of the exploratory stuff, and then it comes a bit more paint by numbers. But yeah, I think for the health of the game, new maps is always going to be good. You need a healthy balance because if we're constantly playing new maps, then the level of play is going to be very low, which we don't want. But yeah, I'm excited for sure. I think this is about the right speed for me in terms of new maps being added.
Yeah, and then also you want the community to be making new maps because not only you're engaging the community to make them new maps, some of their work might be in the game and they're gonna feel really good about it. They get money for it. Also, if you involve community, you get more fucking maps. It's that simple.
It's obviously important to the studio to put up 30k for new maps, right? Like that's got to be quite a top priority for them. I don't suppose they have many in-house mappers, right? Napalm, like I know you guys do. Like you're essentially like contracted to do new maps.
Yeah, they have 2 right now, dedicated mappers. But like Baxo, I think he does mostly UI stuff, but he did Marina. He's a good mapper too. So if you want to count him, they have 3 mappers.
Yeah. That's cool. And have you seen like obviously the mapping Discord? Like I don't check into it too often, but I do have a little browse every now and then. It seems pretty active, right? So you must have come across quite a few, again, almost brand new mappers, if you want to call them that. Just people in the community that have picked up mapping as a passion. So has that been impressive to see?
Yeah, there's been a lot of people that maybe like one of the guys I'm going to name drop a little bit, but Specky, he's one of the he's going to be competing. That guy's insane. Yeah, he was a lighting guy. Like that's what he did, right? He does lighting for games and animation and stuff. So he's like, I'm just going to try mapping. Well, he's doing great at it. And there's like I'd say 20 other people that just show up out of nowhere, never mapped before, into the editor, making great maps. It's really shocking, actually. We didn't expect it. And then there's people who you thought were like going to do okay. They have experience. Maybe they're like a pro player or something like that. and they hand you a steaming pile of shit that you wouldn't even throw it in your garbage. You'd have to bring it outside because it's so bad, right? But it's been great. It's a great experience. I like helping people anyway, so it's good.
It seems like it's quite addicting. I mean, some of these people get rolling on their maps. They're like, I see some people streaming at like fucking godly hours of the morning, like just like no cam. They even put it at the top like no cam, just music and no mic, just mapping away. They absolutely love it.
The thing that we always tell the new mappers when they come in is, if you find yourself just running loops on your map, you're probably mapping right. You have to check the flow. You're going to clear your brain space so you know what to do next. You're going to put a lot of laps. And you could see it. You're like, oh, I'm going to do this trim for 30 minutes. 4 hours later, it's still not done, but you've done a lot of laps. There's a lot of that.
What got you into mapping, Napalm? Because you said to me that you've not been mapping for like too long. So what kind of got you involved in it, and then got you involved with making it for this game, like making maps for this game?
I've always had that thing like, hey, I could probably get into mapping maybe, right? Back in the day, like Quake 3 days. But then when Diabotical came, the editor was so like, there's not a lot to it. You can't get a lot of depth, and people coming from other editors might be frustrated. But as me, I'm basically playing Legos. Like I'm just slapping blocks together, and I can slap a prop in. It's super easy for me, right? So March of this year, I was like, I'm gonna try mapping, just get into it. So I started making maps. A lot of it too, to teach myself, was doing research. Tons of research. I put in more hours just in research than most people probably did just working their job. I'm insane. And then I just started critiquing my work and other people's work, and it made me like develop a process, right? So from March to June, I learned everything I possibly could about AFPS, mapping, and just talking to people. And then FaZe, Wins, James, all these people giving me constant feedback, like every day, uploading maps, test them, rinse, repeat. I learned so much. It just came down to passion and being a lunatic. That's what got me into mapping. And like you said earlier, it's addicting. It's very addicting.
And that guy right there, I remember he's pretty much halfway there when it comes to like finding his own style and doing his own things. And then Nate messages me, I think at one point, it was like in the evening, we were done playtesting, and he's like, yeah, so I've got this map that I did in like 3 to 4 hours. I want you to have a look at it. That map was fucking Oxide, and 90% of that layout that he did in 3 to 4 hours is exactly what it is right now in the game. It's insane. It's insane how quickly you can block stuff out in the game, and also it's insane how fast Nate can do it. He can smash out a couple of maps a day, pretty much. Like basic layout, obviously no arting, but like just smash out the layout. It's great, and he's great. So yeah, big props to him.
FaZe being nice for a change. This is weird. What wants us to do? Say something nice about me. No, I'm kidding. What I was going to say is, cheers, mate. Yeah, it's growing back. It's growing back. Yeah, it's growing back. Nate, I was going to ask as well. With it, when it comes down to picking like a game mode to map for, because I've seen some maps. I'm looking at it from the untrained eye. I'm like, someone will be like, oh, this isn't a good wipeout map, or this would be better for TDM, or better for this mode. Like, what are you looking for in that kind of thing? Because I've noticed, obviously, on TDM maps, you don't have any voids, right? But on wipeout, you generally do. Is it like basic stuff like that, or am I just kind of, like, I haven't played enough TDM over like decades, like a lot of you guys have, to know what would make like a good TDM map. So what are sort of like intricacies you're looking for there?
I think every mode has its own basic rule set that you want to map for, right?
Okay.
And if the more competitive the mode, the less gimmicks, the less voids, less hazards, all that stuff it gets reduced, right? But there's also, the more competitive the map and the game mode itself, then item placement becomes way more important. Everything becomes way more important. There's just more emphasis on playability, gameplay loop, and balance. But if you make a TDM map and you put a bunch of voids in it and the flow is not the greatest, that might be the best free-for-all map you've ever seen. It all depends what the mode is, and a lot of the times people will make maps not knowing they're new. They don't really know how TDM is supposed to be played. Well, now you have a freeze tag map because they put the stuff in, but you're not going to know that until somebody tells you. That's one of the things that struggled for me at first. Like my first MacGuffin maps, Actually, you know what? All 5 of my MacGuffin maps, they're trash. Just straight trash. My maps suck for MacGuffin.
You must have like a vision in your head about how it's going to play, but then like reality sets in sometimes. It's like, actually, this is not how it's flowing as I
It's
imagined.
the reality of how much people can abuse certain things on a map
Yeah.
that mappers don't think of it at all. That's why you have pro players testing those maps. Like if those maps are going to be ending up to be in competitive game modes. So I know a lot of people still complain that people who have helped with the gameplay testing are currently competing in the you know in the team modes or duels or whatever. But it's like you need those fucking people in order to test them at the highest level, so that when they actually come into the game, you don't get shit on by the entire community. Like it's super important.
How many during your testing phase? How many like iterations of maps did you go through? You must have seen so many different versions
Dude,
of.
there's like at least per map, there was at least 20 plus iterations. And a lot of the maps that the guys were working on, apart from maybe like a map like Oxide, the layout changed so drastically that we essentially wouldn't get the competitive advantage that people claim that we do, because the map got changed within a week before the release so much that you have to relearn how to play on it. You change one room or you remove one room, the entire flow completely changes, and then you have to figure out from the very beginning what to do, how to get from point A to B, what the strats are, right? And like I think the map that went through the most changes is Perilous.
I was going to ask
Because
about
first
that.
of all,
Yeah.
Perilous was not supposed to be a dual map. Perilous was supposed to be a TDM map. Perilous had around 4 extra rooms. Those 4 extra rooms got removed. Then the entire map got changed slightly. Then the mega room got completely changed. Then the red room got completely changed. And it's all within a very short period of time. So you don't have that time to learn any of the maps. Like they changed so drastically.
Yeah.
There's no competitive advantage at all.
Napalm.
And if there is maybe a week, 2 weeks, that people will catch up because the tournaments will a month later, right? Or 2 months
Yeah,
later.
they're very early. Yeah, especially in the closed beta, they had a couple of tourneys as well. Napalm, I was going to ask you, like, is it? I feel like if I was to map, I would somehow. I'd sometimes find it quite hard to keep my ego in check a little bit when it came to people saying, "Oh, this bit's trash. Like, you should change this." Like, how is it dealing with like constantly having to listen to feedback? And again, one of the funny things that again I mentioned to you just before we went live is it's very rare that I see you pop up in a Twitch chat and there's not someone that has to say something to you about like your maps and stuff. They're like, oh, they find like, why is Skybreak shit? And stuff like, it's usually the Australians. I'm gonna come out and say that. It's usually
Nate, you made dual shit.
but how is it like dealing with that? Because I think I would really fucking struggle listening to constant I guess critique, but that's a little bit polite sometimes. People can be a little bit horrible.
It's I don't find it all that bad. Yeah, it can get a little annoying sometimes, but I have no problems telling somebody to go fuck themselves. No problems at all. And like when we touched on a little bit with the Australians, the Skybreak, they're still shit at Skybreak, and I did exactly what they wanted. So like, what more do they want? I'm not changing the whole map for them. I'm sorry. Like, yeah, it's constant, and I like when people ask me to change things I have no control over. Hey, can you take the terrain out of Frontier? Yeah, let me ask everybody at the studio if I can alter their maps for them. Like, yes, sometimes I've done some stuff for them.
Yeah, but seriously, can you please?
Yeah, I was gonna. Can you please?
It's not fun.
I know. It's not good. The whole map isn't good in my opinion, but some people like it.
Yeah, they do.
But I have no control over that stuff. No, I can't fix Toya Fortress. I can't. I have no power over that. I'm sorry. So that's the most frustrating thing, to be honest.
Yeah, when it's out of your control.
Yeah.
What's the so now, obviously Skybreak had some changes, right? So it was about a month ago or so now, or 3 weeks or something, where you moved the yellow and you moved a couple of the weapon spawns as well. Do you get to like make that call, or do you have to kind of like partner up with everyone at the studio and be like, look, this
It's my map.
So it's your map, so you can just make that call basically, and it gets patched in. Is that right?
If I wanted to do that, they would let me do that. If it was like, oh, this is really bad, we shouldn't do that, revert it, they would probably pull the plug and revert it. You know what I mean? But as far as the yellow change, I was already thinking about that. And then James hopped to the mapping Discord one night, and he was like, what do you think about maybe moving yellow farther away? I was already thinking about doing it. So that's when it all snowballed. And I have no problem changing the maps. I think if it's for the better, then do it. Why not? Fuck them.
Yeah.
competitive players will learn in a week. If you don't, then you're not good enough to care anyway. So
Right on. I agree somewhat. Trying to be
Do you
Mr.
still-
Neutral.
Do you still remember where the first yellow was? Yeah, imagine if they played with that yellow there.
Where was the yellow? Enlighten me.
So you know where the old yellow was?
Mm-hmm.
By the wall? It was by the other wall.
Oh,
that you
wow.
could see from the red corridor.
Just
Yeah.
getting
So now imagine that. Imagine what people would be going through. They would be going through mental breakdowns on the map.
yeah, 100%.
One props I've got to give to you, Napalm, is that Skybreak's one of the only maps in Duel, one of two, that has a grenade launcher, which is, bugged or not, is a fucking lot of fun, because you just spam those boys out. You're going to hit a 100 every now and then.
So I love grenade launcher. It's my second favorite gun in the game, and I will forever use it. And so all my maps have it. The only one that doesn't is Oxide. And that's because when that map was made, the grenade launcher was so broken you couldn't use it. So I didn't put it on the map. It got a crossbow instead. But I love grenade launcher.
That's a trade I'm in favour for. Get rid of that crossbow. Get the grenade boy back in.
No, the crossbow is great on Oxide. Like,
Yeah, it is.
It's so
If you-
fucking good.
If you can hit it, which I can't. Yeah, that's the problem. That's
This
why
is
I
like a
asked.
you problem.
Exactly.
That's
That's
a
why I'm doing what Twitch chat do, and I'm asking you to change the map for me. All right. Come
All
on
right.
now.
You got it. You're not Australian, so I'm not going to bend your will.
Oh, that's great. So, obviously, in the mapping contest, you're not allowed to submit your own maps, right? That kind of goes without saying. So, have you got like a panel of judges that are sort of judging these maps?
Yeah. Right now, it's me, Stickflip Mangley, James, Promeus, FaZe. And then we have 3
Oh.
time trial guys.
Didn't know that.
We were going to have Wins, but Wins is so busy and doing other shit, so we took FaZe. I know I sounded disappointed there, but not
So
really. I
Duke
like
face
FaZe a
fuck
lot.
that guy.
Budget wins.
Yeah. So we have a good panel of judges, and that's the group that I would want judging my map and giving me feedback anyway, right? Because after this heat in 5 days, they have a month to fix their map based off our feedback. So that's good. That's good for them. They should be happy.
And is that feedback on like layout and art, the whole shebang?
Yeah, everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just reading the chat. Stick flip faces a discount wins. Top brand wins. And I was just thinking about it. I was like, yeah, I'm literally the wish.com wins.
Yeah.
Still be pretty good though, to be fair.
Yes.
I would
Yeah.
buy off-brand wins, like store brand.
Of course.
But
And to that, yeah, we can enter maps as being judges. But like, if I make a map and it's up to standard, and I could probably just put it in the game. Like Monolith, Stickflip just did that, and we put it in the game. It's in customs. You can play it. So I don't have to worry about that. It just
Ooh.
sucks. I'm not gonna be able to get all this money. But whatever.
well, yeah. Well, one thing I was going to ask you actually personally is you're making. I've seen on your stream you're making a Lost World-esque type map with loads of books in it. What's that map
Yep.
called, and when is that? Because I want to play the fuck out of that. Actually, I might hit you up in the Discord and see if I can play test
Yeah, you
that.
will.
Maybe. Yeah.
So the working name right now is
Oh, have we crashed? Have we crashed?
I don't know. I got to finish the art, and right now I'm still too lazy to finish Lodge. I'm just so busy with mapping contests. So I don't know when it's coming.
I think we had a momentary crash, but you can all hear me, right? We're back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
I was
we're
literally
checking.
about.
It's okay.
I was literally about to hit the reset button on my PC, but we're good. Woo.
Are we good now? Do I have to repeat myself?
I think we're okay. I mean, you just said it's not going to be in the game for a while, and obviously you're focusing on Lodge as well, which I've play tested in. Well, we use it for TDM obviously rather than freeze tag, and that's a fucking
Right.
really fun map. So really enjoying that as well.
I actually want to try that in Extinction. It's got a decent flow. It might work, but I won't know until you play test it. It's hard to say what is a good Extinction map right now because we made the map or made the mode in 5 days. So
Yeah. And I'll be honest, I do wonder if that will even be in season 2 anyway. I guess we
Yeah, I
don't
don't
know officially, but it sounds like it may be making way for TDM. Stickflip's filling in the gaps, by the way, of any audio that was missed. So he's always got your
Oh,
back
okay.
in a young Stickflip.
thank you, Stickflip. You're a lovely man.
I was going to ask as well, what takes longer then? Is it the layout or the arting that takes the longest? Or is it kind of just varying what you're doing?
Oh, time invest.
Oh, no.
The way I describe it to a lot of other people is layout is that's the map. That it doesn't matter what it looks like at that point. It's about the flow, the game state, everything, game loop. That's what matters the most. But the art is what's going to get people into the map. It's going to get what makes them stay for initially to get hooked on the hook of the map. So it's very important, and it does take the most amount of time. I think Oxide, I have 110 hours in layout and like minor collision stuff. I think Stickflip has like 300 hours in art, and Abraxas maybe has 40 hours in art on Oxide. So
Wow.
that's a 500-hour map. You know what I mean?
And that's what would piss me off. That I'd put all that time in, and then there's some like pleb goes, "Oh, your fucking map is garbage." Although I've got no issue saying that about Frontier still, but
Yeah, no doubt.
GMT agrees. Look at his little face lighting up there. So that's exciting, right? So December it actually ends, but the first submissions that you've got to kind of sift through and make a top 10 list in each contest. That's happening on the 15th, I believe, right? Wow, Jesus Christ. We do keep freezing up on my. I don't know if this is my PC. It might even be my PC that's doing this. But it does keep. It's not my download Sluffercaster. It's not that. Are we still here?
Yeah, it's frozen.
Yeah.
No, I'm just messing with you.
It's GMT just frozen. I don't know what it's causing this. I don't know if it's Discord. I don't know if it's my PC. I don't know if it's OBS. Don't know if it's my internet. It's not streams of that stick flip,
So
young man.
This is the what? Fucking
It's working.
experimental dance section of the podcast.
Are you standing up,
FaZe?
FaZe?
Stop motion, man. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's
He's got a standing desk. Come on now.
your screams went so bad you can't sit down
Dude,
anymore.
my ass fucking hurts. I have to stand up.
No, that's fair enough.
I can't standing up sometimes. I tell you, it's good for the energy.
I bet.
Yeah.
You see that a lot in like live broadcasts and stuff, don't you? In like writing
You do.
games and that. Yeah, standing up and screaming. Right. I think we should actually wrap up a little bit earlier than usual because I don't know what's causing these issues.
That's working fine now, mate.
Yeah, it does seem to be working fine, doesn't it? All right, well, we'll carry on. We'll carry on. It's no problem.
Yeah.
Napalm, I wanted to ask you as well a little bit about your history as a player, right? Because you said about being around in the Quake 3 days. What was your sort of early? Have you all just been a Quaker for like since you've been gaming?
I actually did start with Quake in like '97. I played Blood for a long time, and that's where I got my name from, the Napalm launcher. But once I got into Quake 1, I got addicted to single player, and then that led me into Team Fortress, and I got into Quake 2, like Weapons Factory and CTF with the hook and stuff like that. But Quake 3 is when I started to really care about the game. That's when I guess, got good, if you want to call it that. I was a Rocket Arena 3 guy. Clan Arena, was bang you out. I didn't give a shit. I had great aim. People called me a cheater. I didn't care, right? So get to Rocket Arena. I'm like, I'm going to try what everybody else is doing, all the pros, quote unquote, right? Going to OSP, I just get destroyed. Like, I can't aim anymore. I'm the worst player you've ever seen. I can't track anybody. I'm just terrible. And like, DKT spends a month every Sunday just teaching me shit. From there, I go into joining Ikerville for TDM. Then I get into CTF. I'm one of the best flag Ds in North America, smashing out Cloud9, or not Cloud9, C9. Then comes around Quake 4. Worst game I've ever played.
Oh,
I can't even install it.
shit.
It's trash, right? Go back to Quake 3.
GMT.
That's when I started dueling.
Rest in peace.
I'll get back to you, GMT. Don't worry. I'll make you feel better. I'll rub that back. Hold on. So I go back. I'm dueling. I hate my life. Right? Duel just drains your soul. It's a soul crusher. You have to be a masochist to like Duel.
Yep.
2007, late 2007, I quit Quake. I never want to touch it again. I'm fed up. Right? I go back, I think 2008 or 9, I try Quake 4 again. Well, Q4 Max did some work. Fixed it like crazy.
It was like 0.72, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So like Lang is in, that map is balling. I'm having fun. Like it felt good. But I'm like, I could just play World of Warcraft instead. Probably be more productive. So I quit AFPS until 2017 when
Whoa.
Sacrifice or Quake Champions was announced. So I skipped all of Quake Live. And I just started playing Quake Champions.
That's crazy. You competed.
I regret playing Quake Champions.
You regret playing it.
Yeah,
You trade it
big
out for
waste
Quake
of time.
Live.
I would 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because GMT, you're a massive Quake 4 fan, right? That's like your jam when it comes to Quake. Is that right?
Well,
Or Quake
yeah,
World?
it's one of my favorite dual games. Like Quake 4, Warsaw, and Doombringer are my games of choice. Which they tend to be sort of, I mean, they're all slightly weird. Like Quake 4 is the only one with crouch sliding, obviously. And the other thing I really love about Quake 4 is the models are tiny. So God of War Sanchez is the only one that can shaft in it. It's really good. I just do it to annoy him. Yeah, Quake 4 is good because the enemies are tiny. Nobody can hit anything. There's only like 3 working servers in the entire world. It's just a beautiful, anachronistic piece of shit. And I'm a big fan.
Very on brand for you, isn't it? That. I've heard it every week about something. Did it launch like shit then, that game, and then it just got patched into working conditions? Yeah. Ah, fair enough.
It was like basically hardware didn't exist that could run it when it was released.
Wasn't it capped at 60 FPS too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the FPS affected the physics.
Yep.
Good stuff.
And
I was like 7 at the time, but still.
I don't want you to give credit to ID Software too much here because the game, none of the Quakes were fixed by them. It was all modding that fixed every Quake. So Q4 Max, the mod, fixed Q4, not ID Software. They can go fuck themselves.
Like, and even Quake Live is sort of designed on what Quake 3 ended up being played on rule set.
Yep.
Is there any hope for ID these days? Like, there's no modding in QC, right? Is there any support like that? So like you're literally reliant on that company now to make whatever they want to make next, whether that's just continue. Well, they haven't even released QC yet, I suppose, have they? It's still early.
Well, yeah, but
have you seen the terrible maps that they have been making?
Oh, mate, I'm watching all the QPL duelers, and I just can't get my head around these maps. First of all, I can't tell which is which because there's like 2 new ones, and they both got 3 levels of verticality and just a bunch of pillars everywhere.
Very claustrophobic.
Like really strange, really strange.
Oh mate, so you it's kind of like when like I don't know, if you're like a hardcore sports fan, and let's say you play a sport professionally and you watch other people play the game, you're kind of you're not just watching the game for the game, you're kind of analyzing. Actually, I'll tell you what, it's kind of like how I like watch wrestling these days. As an adult man,
fuck's sake,
I'm not watching wrestling for the characters and all that. I'm watching like
you're watching for the men wrestling each other.
I'm watching. No, I see. I used to as a kid, but now I'm watching like what booking decisions are they making here? Like, why are they doing this? So now you must look at maps now in other games, Napalm, and think like, what were they thinking here? Like, you must be like sort of always analyzing it rather than just watching the game play out, right?
I'm gonna answer that with that. It's not just other games. I'll walk around the street. I'll go to Walmart. I'm seeing shit. It blows my mind. I'm like, who designed this? Because they should be fucking fired. So it's not just other maps, but it is other maps too. You know, it's bad, real bad.
Just be
You're
like
talking about wrestling in Walmart, which is like probably a daily occurrence in America. Nonetheless, it's like
Black Friday soon.
Yeah, Black Friday. Yeah,
well, no, it's not called Black Friday anymore.
Again.
Apparently, I don't know what it's called anymore, but it's not Black Friday. Apparently it's not a friendly thing to say in 2020 anymore.
Right. Okay. So
we're 2020. It's a colorful Friday, I guess.
I don't know what it is.
Not
Buy
quite
shit
that.
day.
Yeah, cheap day. There's be a lot of cheap stuff, a lot of cheap TVs.
Yeah. I wish I could get a video card.
Guys. This is dangerous.
On my channel.
Friday.
Can't believe it. FaZe, you need to stop. You have to stop right now. Where did you go before you came back? Go back there, the naughty corner.
I have some funny stories about that.
I'm just quoting chat.
Like, because the correct and accepted term is different parts of the world. And when I was at this weird summer school where everyone was from different countries, a bunch of South American people call black people something you do not call black people. And it was, well, yeah, just some words that we've sort of left behind in the 1800s. That was interesting. Trying to corral people around New York and be like, don't fucking say, do not.
You're a leader
was
though,
fun.
Joe. I reckon you could you could spread the positivity
Oh, of course.
of good and hope. I'd follow you if I had to.
Whew.
For sure.
Positivity
do
and
have
hope 2020. What? Fuck are
Hey,
you
he's the
talking
voice.
about?
He's the voice of Diabotical. You have to follow him. Hear his words. You're casting the teams coming up this weekend, right, Joe?
Yeah, found out
Yeah.
today.
Who are you casting with?
Probably shouldn't say.
He doesn't know.
I do know.
Oh no, I was trying
Me.
to bail you out there, dude.
No, I do know. Yeah, well, anyway, no, because it's funny because I don't know what I'm casting half the time either. Like, I get told pretty late. So,
Just knows you're available.
I will be. It's going to be good. Probably. I don't know. Same as before, isn't it? But different teams, different looks.
Yeah,
Should be
it'd
interesting.
It'd be good.
Yeah.
Some shady people playing the tournament.
True.
Twitter.
I don't get that reference either, chat. So keep your Pepes coming. Excellent. So Napalm, back to on topic. What I was talking about. So you're not just looking at other maps and other games. You're like literally analysing the layout of all sorts. So you could be on your way to like being an architect or something at this point.
Fucking.
I might be.
Oh,
The look at my own house alone drives me insane, and I've always wanted to get into architectural design and stuff. So I'm actually thinking about it.
oh man, go for it! I didn't even know that.
I also I love this idea of you walking into an art gallery, looking at an MC Escher, and just be like, the feng shui's all wrong in here. That upside down staircase is far too slanted.
Just says to his wife, "I need a
It's
jump
just-
pad to get up to the bedroom. I'm sick of these
Yeah.
stairs. Collision on them, shit."
The shit.
Oh, don't fucking even get started with the collision.
Oh my god, I am a stickler for collision. It's like my favorite
think-
thing to do, but when other people fuck it up, it drives me insane.
I think the biggest haters of any collision is me, Nate, and Wins. Nobody else compares to that level at all.
Dude, I miss Win.
Oh,
Just listening to Wins play scrims.
yeah.
I won bigger balls.
Yeah.
I miss his
It's pretty
shaft.
good.
Missed the shaft from Wins.
Mm.
A little bit on the nose edge.
Correct.
You didn't even try for that one.
Nah, just
No.
straight up.
You didn't even smile yourself. That's how bad that was. Like,
Nope.
you feel ashamed about saying it. I understand.
Now, how many shaft jokes have been like told by now? We're only a couple of months, and there must be at least hundreds of thousands of them. But yeah.
Bro, if you got a shaft joke lined up, if you got balls or blaster balls joke lined up, do it.
Yeah, just fire away.
It'd be rude if
Oh.
you didn't say it at this
Yeah.
point.
Everyone's thinking it.
Yeah.
It is quite funny how QC have just started releasing maps as Diabotical's kind of come out and he's receiving regular updates, etc. So I did always find that quite funny how a few people on Twitter are kind of buzzing about a couple of new duel maps for QC. And I was like, oh, cool, I'll watch that Rafa duel on it. Sure, why not? And obviously where he has his graphics on like low or whatever, and like one of them's like an ice themed map, I think, and it's like, oh,
It still looks like shit on Ultra.
does it really? It's
Yeah,
quite hard to
it's
watch,
bad.
man. Yeah, it's quite.
I
quite
mean,
hard
like,
to watch.
I'm like not to take away anything from maybe the layout. I didn't really follow the layout, but visually it looks appalling.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
FaZe, let me hit you with this. Imagine, right? Diabolical map. I'm gonna make it for you, right?
Hmm.
Coming out in season 2, it's gonna be in the competitive pool, right? Picture this. Voids everywhere. Okay. Pincer is on a pillar hovering over a void, which is next to an armor, which is hovering over a void. Now, the only way out of this pit is through a teleporter. When you exit that teleporter, you're in another downward
Void,
area right next to it, which is also right next to a void. And at the same time, the entire map looks exactly the same.
So that sounds like the new map.
That is the new map.
He's
Yeah,
describing the
okay.
new map
Yeah,
verbatim.
I mean, imagine playing that competitively.
yeah, I would blow my brains out.
I think Tox, being the calmest player, would become the most aggressive probably. Like he would be breaking tables playing
Yeah.
that map. Like no, I can't imagine playing that map. Like having fucking voids everywhere, taking
So
rail, there's a void, taking armor, there's a void, taking teleport, there's a void. Yeah, fuck that.
are the voids in QC? Is that like a new thing for Duel in
No.
Quake
It's
series?
always
Or is
it's
it
always like some dual maps had voids,
right?
but that's also the reason why those maps were never liked by any pros.
Right. Okay.
Like 90% of
Wait.
the time.
Which maps had
Like-
voids?
DM17, Fatality versus Thermi.
Oh yeah, true enough.
No, that was like
Pro
a show
T4
match,
or
but yeah,
Pro T2,
T4,
right?
Yeah.
T2. Yep.
But I would
Yeah.
say there's not a lot though, right? There's not a lot of areas in these old duel maps in like Quake Live and stuff where you can fall off the map and just fall to your death, right? It's just in
QC, there's a lot.
QC, there's a hell of a lot, right? Oh no, we're frozen again. Look at GMT's face. I'm uninstalling. We're back.
Stream just crashed potentially.
No, we're good. We're back.
We're back.
Steve,
Nate,
Steve,
Nate, I gotta ask you.
Yeah.
Right. Where is Diabotical's vertical vengeance? I want to see some weird duel maps. Like, what's the feeling? Whether it be the mapping contest or just talks with other mappers behind closed doors. Are we going to see weird duel maps, or do the pros really want pretty normal, regular maps?
Well, what the pros want are probably more regular maps, but then you might end up with a Quake Live dual pool where they kind of all play kind of the same style, really, you know. But I will tell you, there's some crazy maps that actually play kind of decent that I've seen so far. So we might actually see some pretty new stuff as far as vertical vengeance style. I don't know.
I mean, I just mean, like, because vertical vengeance is wacky. It's 2-minute mega. It's basically an insta-give map. I mean, similarly though, I think DM13 super different map. House of Decay, massively different map. Like, and I think it's okay if we have a healthy number of maps coming in and cycling out. You can get away with these more avant-garde concepts. Because, yeah, maybe the competitive play would end up degenerating horribly if we played them for years and years and years. But if we just have them in for a season, then we can be a little bit less picky. And I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, for sure. And I think if we can expand the map pool competitively so we can get banned picks in, then if, something is really funky and you just don't like it, well, you can ban it. I think that would help a lot. For sure.
Yeah, I think 7-map pool with ban as opposed to 5-map pool with pick, way better.
Way better.
That'd be interesting, actually. Very Brood War suggestion of you, actually, there, GMT. Like, have a couple of like just wild ones in there, and it could make for some quite interesting matchups if someone wants to learn it. And let's say someone like Agent becomes he's already kind of the king of Casbah, right? That's not necessarily the more popular pick, but he picks it every single tournament, and he does really, really well in it. So it would be cool to see some fucking weird maps make it in, just even it is just for a season, and then
I got some stuff myself that's coming.
Oh,
I'm looking forward to it.
Napalm once told me on Discord that he's got enough maps to fill out the entire pool himself. All right, you got a lot of maps.
I can confirm.
So that's fucking exciting.
I see. Let's see, Slothocaster. You want DM6? All right, buddy. I got you.
Probably has.
I got you.
Oh yeah, Stickflip said all maps in QC have voids except Blood Rum.
Yep.
That's good to know. Keep Furious Heights.
Oh wait, that is true.
Not
What
all
the
maps
fuck?
actually. No, not all maps in QC.
What doesn't?
All the
Other
dual
than
maps do.
Yep.
I assume he's talking about Duel, right?
Ruins.
Ruins has voids.
It has a
It's at
void
McDonald's.
if you have to like. Of course, you would fucking call it McDonald's, right?
Yeah, of course. It's a giant M. What
No,
else you gonna call it?
Yeah.
What do
right.
you call it?
I don't know what to fucking call it. I don't even have
It's
a call for
McDonald's,
that.
then.
But okay, it's McDonald's, fine. But you have to actually you have to go onto the jump pad and then be lifted up to get out of it. Would you really count that as a void that you can easily jump out?
I don't
of?
know. You ever get red armor, take shaft, and come up that pad and get knocked out of the map? Because that happens semi often.
Yeah. True. Yeah. Okay.
Well, a lot of them have it. Most.
Fine. You
Fine.
can have that one.
Stickflip wins.
Yeah.
Make us CTF2 when CTF comes out. I don't think that's what Napalm's remit's in, but have you seen many CTFs? Again, I don't know if you can mention this, but what are the CTF maps looking at? Have you had a few of them been submitted for the contest?
There's 2, I think, that have been submitted for playtest. Obviously, we don't have contest maps yet, like for full submissions, because they're 5 more days. But
yeah,
I've seen 2 being worked on. I know one of the like Quake Live Dueler guys was making a CTF map, so maybe see more of that. But I haven't really got to playtest too many of the team mode maps. It's way harder to get that together than Duel. So
without the content server, right? Because that's what we were talking
Yep.
about before. Because we've tested a couple of maps again with the frags.net EU thing, and you won't believe how hard it is to get 6 to 8 people to all download and install the maps in the right folder within 20 minutes. It's at least a 20-minute process to get all 8 of you all installed and ready. And I think Banana Man every single time is about to have an aneurysm trying to get everyone to install the map. So
Yeah.
And then some doofus hits pause.
yeah,
oh my god,
GMT
I remember that.
Good times.
Good time.
broke Bloby's pseudo server.
Just wasted like 8 people's hour. Just
Yeah.
everybody for an hour got fucked because I hit pause. One of my proudest moments, honestly.
No
I
doubt.
loved it. I've got hours to burn, and I absolutely loved it when you did that. So that's great.
I like the frags on net. I like it over there. I like playing TDM. It feels good. I like everybody over there. You get some crazy Russians that come in sometimes and they say stuff. I don't understand what they're saying, but
Yeah, don't
they're
worry
fun to
about
play
it.
with. Yeah, whatever. Do tear it up.
No one knows. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm pumped for the mapping contest just to see what people have been working on, because I think like probably someone like you, Napalm, who kind of oversees a lot of it, and you're kind of the go-to guy, I'm pretty sure, when people want to ask questions or get some feedback and advice. Everyone else is kind of just outside of it. Everyone kind of knows about the mapping contest, so it's kind of cooking away. I'm kind of hoping to when they're all released that we're going to be like, whoa! Suddenly there's like so many cool new maps to run around on and play test. It'd be great. I wonder if like obviously your map Skybreak saw some changes like the dual map. I do wonder if maybe a couple of the other maps could maybe see a few more tweaks kind of more regularly. Things like the terrain on Frontier, I wonder if they're maybe left a little bit too long. What, you got any thoughts on some of those other maps that, like, obviously you don't want to start bashing other map makers or anything like that. I imagine that would be bad. But like, do you wonder if like maybe they should be updated a little bit more regularly throughout the season?
Well, the thing is, if you took another studio that's making maps, right? There's going to be 10, 20 people that see a map before it gets released. Here you have Prometheus, right? So he's not only working on new maps, he's trying to maintain old maps. He's got a lot of work on his plate. And I don't fault him for kind of letting the older maps rot. It's just what happened. It's just what happened. I tried to help out as much as possible with it. I did some remixing to some of the other ones when beta was down. I did like Bioplant. I did a bunch of work on Perilous. I did some Casbah and Frontier changes, and a couple of them got in, but not a lot. It was hard to fix the art in time, but I think they need to be fixed or they need to be rotated out. But I don't fault anybody for them being in the state they are. There's just so much to do, and there's only 1 or 2 people that can do it.
Yeah.
Really.
Like, the team is extremely small, and I don't think people yet to this day realize that there's a couple of guys, couple of dudes working on the game together. Well, maybe a little bit more than a couple, but like what? Like 10 plus people working on the game every day, and it's like you can't compare this to AAA studios, right? There's the limited amount of things that they can do, and they still, get you updates every day. So yeah.
I mean, we're not even counting the fact that one, it's a tiny studio, but also people need breaks and holidays and weekends and actual time off. I can imagine trying to maintain a live product is extremely taxing mentally as well. So definitely the expectations are a little bit too extreme sometimes for the studio. So yeah, for sure. So that was it definitely sounds like just a manpower thing then to that. So when that content server's up, when the mapping contest's done, we're gonna have some great new maps to play, and I cannot bloody wait. Is there any questions from chat just as we wrap up? Type them in now. I've seen Stick Flippers just said that he's mocked up some changes to Frontier that James wants Promise to make. I don't know when he's supposed to do them though. Exactly what you just said, Napalm, how there's just not enough time because he's probably working on all sorts of other stuff as well.
Yeah.
So just to recap, we got on the 15th of November, that's when everyone has to submit their work. You and the other guys are going to prune through them and get a top 10, if I'm right in saying.
Yep.
And then do they have any last minute the top 10 that you choose? Do they then go back and redo whatever they need to do, ready for the end of the contest, or what?
Well, so we have 4 or 5 days once the 5th hits to prune through, get the top 10 in each category, and then we're going to go through, give feedback, art, layout, everything. We're going to give a bunch of feedback. We'll probably have to do some play testing, I would assume. And then they have a month. I guess it won't be a full month. It'll be like 3.5 weeks to apply all the feedback and resubmit it December 15th. That'll be the final judging, and that's when all the money happens.
Them payouts, eh? Oh, Death Row's got a question for you, FaZe. Who are these shady individuals in the NA team that you mentioned earlier?
Just the Twitter drama. People, I'm gonna say it, right? I don't think it's nice for people to call other people out because they want to play with other people, and there's some different circumstances, right? At the end of the day, you play in a game to fucking win, and it doesn't matter if you're all good friends. If you don't work well together, well, time to look for other teammates and see if you can play better with them. If you can't play better with them, then maybe you can play back with the other guys. But at the same time, you want to progress, and that's it. That's all you should do. Friendships aside, you play to win. That's it.
There we go. That's answered there. Obviously, we're in a bit of the Wild West, right? Because there's no fucking contracts being signed for teams in this game. This is very old school, this scene at the moment, I suppose. Another question from Johan Maganovic. How many of the maps will actually be implemented into quick play / ranked matchmaking? We don't know, says Stickflip. But go on, you can answer it as well, Napalm.
That is the short answer, is we don't know. The long answer is every single map that's submitted will need work before it goes live. So the contest ends after season 2 starts, I think, and then we're gonna have to go through, judge them, and fix them before they get in. How many are going to be in the ranked play? No idea. I have Monolith in quick play right now, and it plays great, and it's not in ranked. So I have no idea when these maps, how many maps are going to get in, whatever. We don't know yet.
Cool. Kind of expected because, you're taking from the community. They're not going to probably be completely perfect. But there's going to be some fucking great maps, right? There's a lot of money up for grabs. And a couple of people are going to be very, very happy if they win that. So, guys.
FaZe could probably say something about that because he's actually play tested some too. So there's some good maps already. Real good maps.
Wait, what?
You've play tested some really good maps already.
Yeah. I've play tested some dual maps, some TDM maps, and the dual ones are actually looking quite promising.
Yep.
So that's all I can pretty much say.
Some good stuff to look forward to by the sounds of it.
Yep.
Amazing. Right, lads, we're going to leave it there, I believe.
Are we?
Well, have you got anything else you want to bring to the table at 12:35 in the morning, Joel?
I do. Season 2's coming up. And for too long, we have had to strafe jump and run places. Phi_slide 1 for season 2. Every duel map. You better believe it. I've been called a leader of men by Jake on this very podcast, and I'm going to prove it.
I've muted him. Guys, we're going to raid Press OK. He's a fine fellow. Watch his stream. Napalm, thanks for coming on, man. Is there anything you want to plug or anything before we head off? Or are you just going to keep on mapping?
Twitch Prime.
Oh, God. Great salesman. Fantastic. Hang on.
Thank you.
I'll be sure to make an in-depth zip of all the entries and go in depth of what the winners won. Oh, sweet. So that's kind of cool. So not only are we going to get feedback on the ones that didn't quite make it, but Stickflip's going to let us know why the ones that did won. Sorry, why the guys that did win, why they did win. Fuck me, that was hard to say. GMT, anything else to say?
Phi_slide 1.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Sorry about the technical issues. I don't know what that was, but we're going to raid Press OK, and I'm going to mute us, and off we go. See you later.
I've got a brick to take out, so I'll see you later.